Hello and welcome to the Canadian political scene. Today we will look at the controversy behind the root cause of terrorism. Liberals recently elected Justin Trudeau as their new leader, and as expected, he came under fire. In a week filled with terrorism, Trudeau came under fire for remarks he made in an interview with CBC's Peter Mansbridge on how to deal with terrorism. Trudeau fought back, accusing the Conservatives of politicizing the tragedy in Boston. In this video, we shall take a look at the controversy behind the root cause of terrorism and put the Conservative antics in their proper context. Let's start by seeing Trudeau's full response to Mansbridge's question. There is more than just root causes.
And let me try to ask this as fairly as I can, because it's only a couple of hours after something has happened that clearly was not an accident in Boston. People have died, many people are injured. You're the Canadian Prime Minister. What do you do?
First thing, you offer support and sympathy and condolences, and can we send down EMTs, or as we contributed after 9/11. Is there any material immediate support we have we can offer? And then at the same time, over the coming days, we have to look at the root causes. Now, we don't know now whether it was terrorism or a single crazy or a domestic issue or a foreign issue. All those questions. But there is no question that this happened because there is someone who feels completely excluded, completely at war with innocence, at war with a society. And our approach has to be, okay, where do those tensions come from? Yes, we need to make sure that we're promoting security and we're, keeping our borders safe and monitoring the kinds of violent subgroups that happen around. But we also have to monitor and encourage people to not point fingers at each other and lay blame for personal ills or societal ills on a specific group, whether it be the West or the government or Bostonians or whatever it is. Because it's that idea of dividing humans against ourselves, of pointing out that they're not like us, and in order to achieve our political goals, we can kill innocents here. That's something that no society in the world that is healthy, regardless of ideology, will accept.
A number of other major cities in the United States, whether because they've heard something or been told something or not, have gone on kind of full alert, moved people into specific areas to be prepared in case something larger than Boston is going on. Would you be picking up the phone, talking to the RCMP, CSIS, Border Patrol,
of course,
Armed Forces?
Of course, I'd be worried about what specific targets there are, but there will always be more targets, more shopping centers, more public events, more gatherings than we can evacuate or than we can deal with. There is a need for security and response and being proactive and making sure that we have information, but we also need to make sure that as we go forward, we don't emphasize a culture of fear and mistrust, because that ends up marginalizing even further people who are already feeling like they are enemies of society, rather than people who have hope for the future and faith that we can work together and succeed.
Trudeau's root causes remark prompted swift response at Thatcher's funeral.
When you see this type of action, when you see this type of violent act, you do not sit around trying to rationalize it or make excuses for it or figure out its root causes. You condemn it categorically, and to the extent you can deal with the perpetrators, you deal with them as harshly as possible.
So he came out and condemned the comments without even being asked specifically about Justin Trudeau's comments. Well, when Justin Trudeau heard what the Prime Minister said, he wasn't even supposed to come out and speak with the media after question period today. He came out, he was really angry about this. Take a look at that.
Someone just handed me the news report of the Prime Minister lashing out. I really hope that Mr. Harper rethinks the extents and the lengths he's willing to go to personally attack people and to politicize tragedies like that.
Started as a one-on-one, became a group gang-up.
Let me ask Mr. Poilievre, what exactly does the Prime Minister say when he said this isn't the time to commit sociology? What's wrong fundamentally with trying to understand why people turn to terror?
Nothing, but that's not the issue. When Peter Mansbridge looked Justin Trudeau in the eye and said, "There's just been an attack in Boston. You're Prime Minister. What do you do?" The right answer would have been, I immediately contact the RCMP and the CSIS to ensure there are no threats unfolding in Canada. I check with the border services to see if there's anyone who's crossed the border that we have to be concerned about. I contact the White House to offer collaboration in preventing any further attacks and capturing the perpetrators. I publicly condemn the evil that has been undertaken, and I make sure there are services provided from our consular officials in the United States to any Canadians potentially affected. That would have been the right answer.
Wait a second. Didn't Trudeau say that?
First thing, you offer support and sympathy and condolences, and can we send down EMTs, or as we contributed after 9/11. Is there any material immediate support we have?
A number of other major cities in the United States, whether because they've heard something or been told something or not, have gone on kind of full alert, moved people into specific areas to be prepared in case something larger than Boston is going on. Would you be picking up the phone, talking to the RCMP, CSIS, Border Patrol,
of course,
Armed Forces?
Of course, I'd be worried about what specific targets there are, but there will always be more targets, more shopping centers, more public events, more gatherings than we can evacuate or than we can deal with. There is a need for security and response and being proactive and making sure that we have information, but we also need to make sure that as we go forward, we don't emphasize a culture of fear and mistrust.
Where does Stephen Harper stand on terrorism?
I'd like to speak with you about the terrorist arrest this week and a number of concerns they've raised. One is concerns on the part of the U.S. that the arrest came too quickly and jeopardized their own investigations connected to this matter. And the second is the concern here at home that in this case we have another example of men, young folks becoming radicalized here in Canada. So I wonder if you could address both the U.S. concerns and also answer at what point is it okay to start talking about the root cause of these cases?
First of all, I think it's important for me to say again, as I think you're very clear on, that it is law enforcement agencies, including obviously the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, CSIS and others, but particularly the RCMP, that make decisions on operational police matters. And obviously they have worked very closely with their American counterparts, and I congratulate them for that work once again. I think that in terms of radicalization, this is obviously something we follow. Our security agencies work with each other and with others around the globe to track people who are threats to Canada and to watch threats that may evolve. I think, though, this is not a time to commit sociology, if I can use an expression.
Just wait until you hear Conservative MP Pierre Poilievre.
What does commit sociology mean? Let me just, again, what's the appropriate, is there some kind of rule about when you're trying to understand terror? What is there some kind of set aside proper timeline here? I'm trying to understand, what's the line here that the Prime Minister is getting at? What is it?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
The
Lifetime,
answer
is it a day?
Okay, on the first thing is, the question that Mr. Trudeau was asked is, what do you do as a Prime Minister in those circumstances? What he did was pontificate along a meandering stream that led nowhere. We need a Prime Minister who can take strong action in a crisis like that. That's what we have in Prime Minister Stephen Harper. The root causes of terrorism is terrorists. That's how we respond.
Really? That's
yes.
it? The root cause is terrorism? Okay.
Yes, the root cause
You're
of
just
terrorism.
saying that's it? You have no other.
This
is it. The root cause of terrorism is terrorism. That's it?
Right.
There's no other cause?
The root cause of terrorism is terrorists.
Fortunately, not all Tories share that same view. While Prime Minister Stephen Harper and Conservative MP Pierre Poilievre see terrorism in this very simplistic light, it is worth noting that Defence Minister Peter MacKay and British Conservative Prime Minister David Cameron see things in the same light as Liberal leader Justin Trudeau.
Other part of the world, in Norway, families have been struck with tragedy. And these explosions and shootings in Oslo and in a camp nearby demonstrate that the world is still a very volatile place. And a demonstration of, to use your word, the volatility that's still there, the vigilance that we have to demonstrate and persevere and work together to try to find the root causes, but also try to preempt and interrupt these type of attacks.
We have got to get to the root of the problem. And we need to be absolutely clear on where the origins of these terrorist attacks lie.
Stephen Harper on terrorism. Best of judgment or nothing but political opportunity? Perhaps he is in way over his head. Thank you for watching this video. For more updates, you can join us on Facebook, Google+, and Twitter via the links in the description below. For more videos from us, please do subscribe and feel free to join the discussion in the comments below. What do you think about Stephen Harper's stance on terrorism and the root causes of terrorism?
How far would you extend that? Just watch me.